This video explains about boundary layer characteristic. This is a continuation from introduction for flow, path, and immersed bodies. In previous chapter, which is chapter 2, we learned about velocity potential flow, which is we use this kind of flow in order to obtain the stream function, in order to obtain the streamline over a body. Okay, so this basically for the potential flow theory only in the inviscid region. Now in chapter 3, like I mentioned before, this chapter 3 is related to the viscous region. Okay, and then in the introductory part of this chapter, I show you how to characterize the flow based on Reynolds number. Basically, for flow of interest, especially in engineering application, the flow is considered moderate to high Reynolds number. Okay, so for the flow in this range, the boundary layer close to the solid wall is very thin. Okay, so in this boundary layer, we need to know the characteristic that describe the boundary layer itself. For example, what happened in the laminar flow, and then what happened between laminar to turbulent, which is transition, and then what happened to the turbulent itself. Okay, and then for this boundary layer characteristic, for the boundary layer itself, we need to identify about the thickness of the boundary layer. Okay, and then we define this as delta, which is boundary layer thickness, and then the second one is about the boundary layer displacement thickness, and then the third one is boundary layer momentum thickness. Okay, before we start, let's watch this video. Basically, this is a flow past a flat plate that was in the water tunnel. Okay, so as you can see, this is laminar flow over a flat plate. Okay, so first we need to know what happened to the boundary layer structure and thickness on a flat plate. So first thing first, as we studied in chapter 1, you still, I guess you still remember about boundary layer no slip velocity. Okay, so for the no slip velocity, velocity which is on the fixed plate, velocity is always 0. Okay, so due to this no slip boundary condition, okay, so no slip due to this no slip boundary condition, the development of boundary layer is developed. Okay, so first layer that adjacent to the wall, adjacent to the solid body, the velocity is 0, and then velocity will increase gradually until it reach the velocity equal to the free stream velocity. Okay, so within this deficit of velocity, we define it as a boundary layer. Okay, so as you can see in this figure, there are boundary layer for laminar. Okay, laminar boundary layer, and then there are some, basically there will be a transition layer, and then turbulent boundary layer. Okay, so in order to make you understand what is boundary layer and how it is developed, first we assume that there is a small rectangular particle in this upstream region. Okay, so this is a small particle, or which can be assumed as a fluid element. Okay, So a small rectangular particle retains its original shape as it is flow in the uniform flow outside of boundary layer. Okay, so before the this particle reach the flat plate, the particle remain in terms of its shape, which is the original shape. Okay, once the particle enter the region where the flat plate is, you can see there are change of this shape. Okay, the rectangular shape. So as you can see, this for example, in this region, the shape of element which is characterized by the boundary, which is characterized by the velocity gradient itself, so that you can see that velocity for the upper plate, velocity for the upper velocity at this region, which is at the top of the fluid element, is much or is higher than velocity at the bottom element. Okay, so that's why the shape is become like this. Okay, and then the particles begin to distort. Okay, as because of the velocity gradient. So velocity gradient, I think you still remember the u dy, for example, the u dx, the u dz. So there was a velocity gradient within the boundary layer. Then the top of the particle, as I mentioned, the top of the particle has a larger speed than its bottom. Okay, so as you can see, for example, there are two different characteristic of fluid particle. Okay, in this region where it is no viscous region or inviscid region, the fluid element retain its shape. Okay, while in the boundary layer, the fluid element change the fluid element change the shape. Okay, so along this what we call inviscid region, the fluid particles do not rotate as they flow along outside the boundary layer. Okay, and then at some distance downstream from the leading edge, okay, downstream from the leading edge, this is leading edge, the boundary layer flow becomes turbulent. Okay, and the fluid particles become greatly distort. Okay, so the change of fluid particle is tremendous. Okay, and the fluid particles become greatly distort because of the random, irregular nature of the turbulence. Basically, this is the characteristic of turbulent flow. It is random, irregular nature, random and irregular nature for the turbulent flow. The flow is said to be irrotational. Okay, in this region, the flow is said to be irrotational outside the boundary layer. Okay, and rotational within the boundary layer. Okay, so in chapter 2, for the velocity for the plane potential flow, this is basically an irrotational flow. Okay, so there was a basic concept for the plane potential flow. The first basic concept, the flow must be irrotational. Okay, so there was in the inviscid region, while for the boundary layer, within the boundary layer region, the flow is rotational. And then the flow outside the boundary layer has zero vorticity. If you want to define in terms of kinematics of rotational and irrotational, which is vorticity, outside the boundary layer it has zero vorticity, and then within the boundary layer it was non-zero vorticity. Okay, so now as you can see in this figure, there are lamina and then turbulent boundary layer. Okay, so now the question is how we define this region, lamina boundary layer region and turbulent boundary layer region. Okay, so the first things that we need to know is about the Reynolds number critical. Okay, so this Reynolds number critical is used in order to define the lamina boundary layer. Okay, mean that when the Reynolds number exceeds the Reynolds number critical, the flow is said to be turbulent boundary. Okay, so this is what I mentioned, the critical Renault number X critical, REXCR. So one of the distinguishing features of turbulent flow is the occurrence of irregular mixing of fluid particles that ranges in size from the smallest fluid particle up to those comparable in size with the object of interest. Okay, so which is in this region, which is when the fluid particles is comparable in size with the object of interest. This is basically within the turbulent flow. However, for laminar flow, the mixing occurs only in the molecular scale. So this molecular scale is order of magnitude smaller in size than typical size scale for turbulent flow mixing. So the transition from a laminar boundary layer to a turbulent boundary layer occurs at critical value. Okay, so critical value, which is X critical of the Reynolds number critical on the order of 2 times 10 power 5 to 3 times 10 power of 6, depending on the roughness of the surface and the amount of turbulence in the upstream flow. The location along the plate where the flow becomes turbulent, which is X critical, move toward the leading edge, as the free stream velocity increase. Okay, so as you can see in this graph, so as the free stream velocity increase, for example 100 for Reynolds number 2 time of 10 power of 5, when the Reynolds number when the free stream velocity increase to 100, the critical region or critical the location of critical region or XCR is moving toward the leading edge. Okay, so now it is in this region, for example, and then for 10 meter per second, this is where the XCR, the critical location. Okay, so basically this critical location can be understood based on this. Okay, so let's say this is your flat plate. Okay, so this is your boundary layer. Okay, so this is where, for example, it is laminar region. So this is where we define XCR. Okay, XCR, which is location of the critical region. Okay, less than XCR, this is a laminar region. Okay, higher than critical location or higher than XCR, so this will be turbulent region. Okay, so first, as I mentioned, in order to characterize to understand the boundary layer, first we need to know about the thickness of the boundary layer. Okay, so the purpose of the boundary layer is to allow the fluid to change its velocity from the upstream, or free stream value of u to 0 on the surface. This v equal to 0 at y equal to 0. Okay, so this is v equal to 0 where y equal to 0, and v equal to ui at the edge of the boundary layer. Okay, so this is where we define the edge of boundary layer. Okay, so with the velocity profile u equal to u xy, and then bringing this to the boundary layer thickness. Okay, so this is from y equal to 0 to this u equal to 0.99 u. So this is defined as a boundary layer thickness. So this boundary layer characteristic occurs in a variety of flow situations, not just on a flat plate. Okay, but now we focus on flat plates. For example, boundary layers form on the surface of cars in the atmosphere as the wind blows across the surface of the earth. For the boundary layer thickness, there are no sharp edge. Okay, so meaning that in this region there are no sharp edge for the boundary layer. So that is u is not equal is u is small u is equal to approaching the free stream velocity capital U as we get further from the plate. we define the boundary layer thickness as that the distance from the plate, okay, distance from the plate as I mentioned before, at which the fluid velocity is within the some arbitrary value of the upstream or freestream velocity. Okay, so at delta equal at y equal to delta, which is boundary layer thickness, u equal to, u is the deficit u in this velocity profile, in this boundary layer region, equal to 0.99 u, okay, 0.99 free stream velocity. Okay, so let's watch this video in order to get insight what is boundary layer thickness. Okay, so now the plate is moving. Okay, so as the plate move, okay, the boundary layer is developed. Okay, so basically this is where velocity equal to 0, and then it increase, okay, with respect to time, okay, increase in size, so that this is where the velocity, okay, now u equal to 0.99 u, okay, and then here u equal to 0. Okay, from this plate, okay, to this u equal to 0.99 u, we define this boundary layer thickness. And then the second parameter for the boundary layer is about the boundary layer displacement thickness. Okay, so first as you can see in this figure, there are A and B. Okay, A is the boundary layer thickness. Okay, you can define this is boundary layer thickness where the flow is in the viscous region. Okay, for the B, there are two figure which is defined for the standard viscous region, and then this is without viscous region. Okay, as you can see, the velocity profile, it is a straight line which is mu equal to 0, and then u is always equal to free stream velocity. Okay, so because of the velocity deficit u minus u, okay, in this region, u minus u within the boundary layer, the flow rate across the section BB, okay, B to B is less than across section A to A. Okay, so however, if we displace the plate at section AA, okay, by an appropriate amount, which is delta star, the boundary layer displacement thickness, the flow rate across each section will be identical. Okay, so this is true if delta thickness, okay, this is boundary layer displacement thickness delta, and multiply with the B is the width of the plate, okay, and then multiply with the velocity u, which is also equal to this region. Okay, so this one, this is for this figure, let's say 1, and then this is 2. Okay, this is equal to 2. So u minus u multiply with b, and then multiply with the dy. Okay, so where b is the plate width, so thus the boundary layer thickness equal to, rearrange this equation, you will get the boundary layer displacement thickness delta star equal to integration of 0 to infinite 1 minus u over u dy. Okay, u over u basically the velocity based on a velocity profile. Okay, so boundary layer displacement thickness is defined in terms of volumetric flow rate. Okay, so this it can be defined and based on volume flow rate. Okay, so this is delta because volume flow rate is u multiplied with the area, so delta is here, and then multiply with the width. Okay, so this is area. Okay, and then u is the free stream velocity. Okay, so the displacement thickness represent the amount that the thickness of the body must be increased so that the fictitious uniform in viscid flow has the same mass flow rate properties as the actual viscous flow. So it represents the outward displacement of the streamline caused by the viscous effect on the pipe. This idea allows us to simulate the presence that the boundary layer has on the flow outside of the boundary layer by adding the displacement thickness to the actual wall and treating the flow over the thickened body as in viscid flow. Okay, so mean that now by defining the boundary layer displacement thickness, we can increase, okay, we can increase this plate, okay, we can increase this plate at this amount, okay, so that it will be equal to this flow for the viscous region. Okay, and then the last one for the boundary layer thickness is about the boundary layer momentum thickness theta. Okay, so boundary layer momentum thickness is defined in terms of momentum flux. Because of the velocity deficit u minus u in the boundary layer, the momentum plot cross section B is also less than that occurs that cross section A. Okay, so this deficit in momentum plot for the actual boundary layer flow on a plate of width B is given by, so the momentum plot rho u multiplied with the u minus u, which is in the deficit of velocity, multiplied with the area, which is also equal to rho b 0 to infinite u minus u, not u, this is capital U, okay, capital U dy. Okay, so which by definition is the momentum plot in a layer of uniform speed u and the thickness theta. So that is rho b u squared theta equal to rho b integration of 0 to infinite u minus u dy, or displacement thickness equal to u over u, okay, u over free stream velocity 1 minus u over free stream velocity dy. Okay, so this is boundary layer momentum thickness. Okay, so first you need to remember about the delta, which is boundary layer thickness, delta star boundary layer displacement thickness, and then theta, which is boundary layer momentum thickness. Okay, so for the theta, this is the equation. For the delta star, so this boundary layer displacement thickness, and then this is boundary layer thickness. Okay, so this is boundary layer thickness. Okay, so first, as you can see in this figure, the delta, which is boundary layer thickness, and then this is wall shear stress. Okay, so as you can see in the laminar region, the wall shear stress is decreased. Okay, wall shear stress is decreased as the flow passing the plate. Okay, and then it start to increase, the wall shear stress start to increase where the flow start to be a turbulent flow. Okay, so in next part I will explain what happened, why this is this kind of wall shear stress happen in the laminar and turbulent region. Okay, so now it is a Prandtl Blasius boundary layer solution. Okay, so for these two researchers, Prandtl is the teacher and the Blasius is student for the Prandtl. These two researchers use Navier-Stokes equation in order to simplify for the boundary layer flow analysis. Okay, so by using boundary layer concepts introduced in the previous section, Prandtl was able to impose certain approximation, okay, which is also valid for large Reynolds number flow, and thereby to simplify the governing equation. In 1908, Blasius, which is his student, one of the Prandtl students was able to solve this simplified equation for the laminar boundary layer flow. Okay, remember that this is only for laminar boundary layer flow, pass a flat plate parallel to the flow. First, for steady two-dimensional laminar flow with negligible gravitational effect, the Navier-Stokes equation becomes u du dx plus v du dy equal to -1 over rho dp dx plus nu d square u over dx square plus d square u over dy square. Okay, so this is Navier-Stokes equation for u, and then for v velocity. Okay. So since the boundary layer is very thin, okay, so for moderate and large Reynolds number, the boundary layer around the solid body is very thin. So it is expected that the component of velocity normal to the plate, okay, so this is plate, there are two components of velocity, which is u and also v. Normal to the plate is much smaller than that parallel to the plate, and that the rate of change of any parameter across the boundary layer okay, should be much greater than along the flow direction. Okay, that is v is greatly less than u. Okay, v is the normal velocity, u is the streamwise velocity, okay, or parallel velocity, and rate of change delta over delta x much smaller than rate of change in terms of delta y, which is normal direction. Okay, physically the flow is primarily parallel to the plate surface, and any fluid property is convected downstream, okay, convected downstream much more quickly than it is diffused across the stream line. Okay, with this assumption, the governing equation now can be reduced to du over dx plus du over dy, which is the continuity equation, and then u du dx plus v du dy equal to nu d square u over dx square. Okay. This is not dx, because dx is much smaller. This is nu du d square u over dy square. Okay, so now we just we just focus on the u velocity. Okay, so this equation is simplified based on this assumption. Okay, v velocity is much smaller, and then the rate of change for the x, okay, rate of change for the x is much smaller than rate of change in y direction. Okay, and then for flat plate boundary layer flow, the pressure gradient term is eliminated, okay, leaving only the x and y components of the velocity as unknowns. Okay, so for flat plate, okay, flat plate boundary the pressure normally it is a constant pressure for a flat plate, so that's why pressure gradient dp dx is negligible, or dp dx equal to 0. So the flow represents a balance between viscous. Okay, so the flow for laminar flow, it is only balance between viscous. Okay, so this is viscous and inertial, so this is inertial term with pressure playing no role. Okay, pressure playing no role as indicated in the following flat plate boundary layer equation. As shown in the figure above, the boundary condition for the governing flat plate boundary layer equation are that the fluid stick to the plate. Okay, so this is standard boundary condition. U v equal to 0 on y equal to 0, and then u equal to u as y equal to not 0. This is y equal to infinity. Okay, so y equal to infinity. Mathematically, the free stream velocity is approached asymptotically as one move away from the plate. Physically, the flow velocity is within 1% of the free stream velocity at the distance of delta from the plate. Okay, so this is a standard boundary layer thickness, which is the velocity in this u equal to 0.999 u. Okay, so which is 1% from the free stream velocity. Okay, so from this governing equation, the boundary layer equation can be written in terms of similarity variable. Then boundary layer velocity profile at different location are similar to each other. Okay, laminar flat plate boundary layer thickness grows as the square root of the distance from the leading linear edge. Okay, so this assumption is valid only for the flat plate and laminar flow. Okay, so I repeat, this Prandtl-Blasius theory only valid for flat plate and laminar region. Okay, so that's why in this second statement, boundary layer velocity profile at different location are similar to each other. Mean that if let's say this is your flat plate, this is laminar region, so this velocity profile at x equal to 1, for example, and then velocity profile at x equal to 4. Okay, so these profiles are identical to each other as long as it is within the laminar region. Okay, so from these three statements, they come out with this equation. Okay, in order to find the boundary layer thickness delta, it is equal to 5 square root of v over x, not v, this is new, viscosity x over u, or it also can be defined in terms of delta over x boundary layer thickness at x is location, and then 5 divided by Reynolds number x. And then for the boundary layer displacement thickness, okay, this is the star, 1.7 to 1 over square root of Reynolds number x, and then the displacement thickness, boundary layer displacement thickness, equal to 0.664 Reynolds number x. And then for the wall shear stress, it is equal to 0.332 u power of 3 over 2 square root of rho mu over x. Okay, so for this wall shear stress with the velocity profile known, okay, velocity profile u over u is given, it is an easy method to determine the wall shear stress, which is wall shear stress tau wall equal to mu du dy, where y equal to 0, where the velocity gradient is evaluated at the plate. The value of du dy at y equal to 0 can be obtained from the Blasius solution. Okay, so value of this gradient du dy can be obtained from the Blasius solution, which is from the Navier-Stokes equation. Okay, so u du dx v du dy equal to 1 over rho dp, sorry, for the Blasius for the Blasius, the pressure gradient is 0, so it just 1 over, and then viscous term, which is d square u over dy square. Okay, so this is where it is the definition of du dy. So you just do a single integration, and then you will obtain du over dy. Okay, so that's all for boundary layer characteristic and how to define the boundary layer thickness, how to define the boundary layer displacement thickness and momentum thickness based on the Prandtl based on the Prandtl-Blasius boundary layer solution. Okay, so see you for the next video, which is how to define the boundary layer based on momentum integral boundary layer equation.